Well, good evening once again. It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock, and it's time for the Monday Review Show. And this is the show for those you regular listeners or regular watchers will know that this is where we discuss all things refereeing and referees, red cards, yellow cards, decision made, decisions not made, etc., etc. If you'd like to make some comments, please do so. There's a little area there on the bottom right hand side of your screen. I'm nearly sure. Yes, it's there. So if you'd like to make comments, please do so, and or ask a question for that matter, and we'll be delighted to help you out. Now, delighted again to be joined by my very good friend and colleague at this stage, former Premier League referee, former head of the PGMOL, former international referee, and the man responsible for introducing goal line technology into the Premier League. Keith Hackett, good to have you here.
Good evening. Delighted to be on the show again.
Thanks, Keith. Now, we were talking off air there about an incident in Craig Pawson's game. Can't remember the actual game. What was it? Can you remember what it was?
Yeah, I'll give it you in a bit. This was where Pawson, if you like, the game was Brentford, Manchester United.
Yeah, Brentford, Man United, yeah.
And what we had in this particular game was a forward in front of goal, held back, and Pawson awarding a penalty kick for the holding offence. And what bemused me then was that was it. And you're suddenly going, just a minute, there's a little bit more here. The player was pulled back. The ball was coming across from the right. And by pulling that player back, he prevented the player from having a shot on goal. So this was a clear denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. No question in my mind that the criteria was fulfilled. And then what we had was a delay until eventually we get a statement to the BBC Match of the Day from the Premier League. That statement says the referee call of a penalty was checked and confirmed by VAR. Because of the pullback of Mabimo, VAR also checked the referee's call of a yellow card to Collins, which he issued, and deemed that Mabino wasn't in control of the ball. So you look at that and you go, just a minute, this is like a simple denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. And, the law is quite clear in relation to this particular offence. It's the probability of controlling the ball. He's not controlling the ball. He's not got to be in control of the ball for the fulfillment of the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. And so, the law states on this, by the way, the likelihood of keeping or gaining control of the ball.
So and of course, just on that point, that's all very subjective, isn't it? I mean, one referee might decide yes, another referee might decide no. But it does say the referee has the final say, regardless of if it goes to VAR. He still has the ultimate power of making the final decision.
Yes, but then what you have to do when you're examining at the elite level is that this particular team, the team that won, in fact, would have been down to 10 men. So,
look at this, so what if they're down to 10 men?
Because, well,
that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is that here was a foul challenge inside the penalty area with the forward, with the probability or the likelihood of having a shot on goal. He doesn't have to score. And that was denied. Therefore, I take away any subjectivity in this particular scenario, because the reality is that he has been denied an obvious goal scoring opportunity for which he should have been dismissed. And I'm not worried about the outcome of the game, but at that particular time, if we're looking at the law, we're looking at the Premier League spokesperson saying he wasn't in control of the ball, that's why he wasn't dismissed.
Just for clarification there, Keith, are you saying the Premier League spokesperson or the PGMOL spokesperson?
Well, it's titled as the Premier League spokesperson.
Premier League.
You know,
and there would be no referees in there in the Premier League.
Well, I think that,
I
ultimately at the end of the day, it's my view that this statement is coming out of Stockley Park to justify the decision that they've made. And yet you know that all decisions can be relatively subjective, but what we have to do here is we have to say, look, the subjectivity here is that the likelihood of the player controlling the ball, right, and having a shot was denied because the player who committed the offence pulled him back away from the ball. And therefore, in that situation, this for me was a very simple red card denial offence, without question.
And for those who didn't see the game, what was the ultimate decision?
The ultimate decision was a penalty kick.
So that got him off the hook as far as the red card was concerned.
I don't think it got him off the hook. I think that, like all the things that we discuss, and aspects of being positive, is that we discuss these things, or I do certainly, and I know you do, in the hope that these types of offences are not repeated going forward. The one thing we can learn, sadly, is by mistakes. And if these are mistakes by the other referee, another referee, and you gain as a referee an improved interpretation of the law, then that enhances your performance and perhaps avoids you in the future falling into this particular trap, and therefore I think that we've got to get in this process when a player is in and around the penalty area and making his direction of play towards goal and a foul occurs, the instant process that you have to go through is 1, direction of play, 2, distance from goal, 3, is it a foul, 4, are there any defenders that are likely to interfere, 5, if the challenge is inside the penalty area, is the offender or has the offender made a genuine attempt to play the ball? And that is a process that young referees have to have in their mindset in order to fulfill law. On occasions, just awarding a penalty kick is insufficient. You have to question, is this a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity? And of course, because of the change in law a couple of 3 years ago about double jeopardy, you've now got to say, did the goalkeeper or the defender in committing that foul make a genuine attempt to play the ball? If he did, it's not a red card, it's a yellow card.
Just let me play devil's advocate, Keith, for a second. Do you think that the referees, I personally do, but do you think the referees are scared to make decisions against many big teams? And I get this regularly. oh, they're scared because it's Man United or it's Arsenal or it's Chelsea. But against Brentford and teams way down there, there's no problem giving. Do you think that's there? I would hope not.
I think that when I hope it's not fair. It's unfair, but the reality is, if we look at Arsenal get some really pretty poor decisions. I don't know why, but they do. You know, and I look and I think, crikey, Then I look at the incident involving Mo Salah this weekend, where his arm is vertically up. It's absolutely vertical, and the ball comes in, and I've looked very closely, and I think that he has touched the ball, and as a result, he's handled, and therefore that's an offence for which an award should be made. But VAR and referee didn't make that call. Now, the reality is, it's easy for me because I can replay it 3 or 4 times. I would expect VAR to do the same. And then what you've got to determine is, if there's any doubt, I'm not 100% certain that Salah has handled the ball, then fine. You've made that call. But then you've got to be prepared to justify it.
Yeah.
In fact. And, and sometimes, we talk about subjectivity about decisions. That is part of the game. But I think we also look at those that are, if a referee on that one, that penalty kick and denial is saying, I don't think that was denial, then in that situation, I'm hoping that referee and the VAR will receive some operational advice.
Here's a text from a regular watcher of the show, Sean Black, and Sean says, I've got to put my glass on here, the 15 must be under 15 players I had Saturday afternoon agreed. They said Dugso, and got to see that even at the highest level, people make mistakes.
Well, of course. I mean, we're dealing with human beings, and we're dealing with, in context, we're dealing with thousands of decisions, which the majority of which the referees get right. Yeah. That's at all levels of the game.
Yeah.
But what we have to understand here is that we are paying and rewarding professional referees in England with a finite salary, and that is their job. They have plenty of time to train. They have a lot of time to analyze their performances, and they have to analyze and have thorough knowledge of the law. And when, as we're pointing out, an error, they've got to justify it. I mean, in one particular game this weekend, a goalkeeper brought down an opponent very clearly, and no penalty kick was given. In my opinion, it was a very clear penalty kick. They said the ball had been played first. Well, it looked to me as though it was the attacker that played the ball. But ultimately, the ball's being played, and then the goalkeeper fouls the forward. Playing the ball doesn't give the right of a player to say he can't foul an opponent or it's not an offence. This was a clear penalty kick, not awarded.
And how many times have we seen a player getting the ball? He got the ball, but his hind leg, if you like, catches the player and nearly breaks his leg. But it's okay. He got the ball. I mean, that's totally.
I mean, this is a statement usually used by players and should not be used by referees. The reality is, as I tried to explain this afternoon to someone, once you launch yourself 1 or 2 feet forward off the ground and you're moving at excessive force and you play the ball and the man, you've still endangered the opponent. you've still committed a serious foul play offence. You cannot use the ball as an excuse.
Yeah.
You have a duty of care towards your opponent.
You're watching the Monday Review Show, and thank you again for checking in, where we discuss all things referees and refereeing. And do please keep your comments coming in. We go live every Monday night at 8 p.m. So do please try and join us. If not today or the next day, we go out on Facebook and we go out on YouTube. Just another quick comment from Sean. Sean says, Keith, how did we get here? Where, in quotes, getting the ball, end quote, negates the foul? Well, that's exactly what we were talking about. You can't touch the ball with your right foot and drag your other foot behind and kill somebody or break the leg. That's just not on. Thanks for
that. I say this throughout my career, that has always been a debate. That is always in the eyes of the playing side, coaching side of football. He played the ball.
Yeah.
You know, the classic one, of course, is playing the ball by putting your heel on the ball, rolling it, and you're going effectively over the top of the ball into your opponent. And look, it's easy in hindsight always, but the reason we're discussing these types of incidents in this show in detail is because there is an higher expectation with the implementation of VAR that if the referee misses some of these incidents, which is perfectly natural in a game, you know, you can get caught out, then VAR is the anchor or the life belt to the referee. But what we see often is confusion.
We've lost Keith. I don't know if you can hear me, Keith. You were frozen in time there for a while. Hopefully you'll come back. Or I wonder, should I just try and send another invite to you and I can keep talking while I'm doing that? I'll just try it again. So if you can just bear with me for a moment, because we do have lots to talk about. I'm just going to try again. I hope you can still hear me. We'll get into it in just a moment. Maybe Keith's coming back to us, is he? I'm going to try and get you back, Keith. Hopefully that will come back to us now in a moment. Oh, you're back again. You're back again.
Yeah, great.
Okay, we lost you for a minute or two. Actually, you had been frozen for 30 seconds. And you're back to it. That's great. Lots of things to talk about. I don't know how you pronounce this. Las Calas, is it? The Newcastle player, where he grabbed the Goyorkas, I can't pronounce it. Literally round the face and pulled him to the ground, and no foul was given.
No, you know, I think I get bemused at times, because one of the things that, you know, you do when you're, you know, I've had, if you like, I've had the honor of being able to analyze through television or the laptop hundreds of games in my role with the PGMOL. And therefore you do develop a sort of skill set in terms of how you're dealing with things. And sadly, you know, what we have is with VAR, these are the types of incidents that should be detected, and they're ignored. Now, I think let me talk about the referee first of all.
Sure.
I think the referee, if you're taking up the correct position away from the D, out towards the left as the ball's coming in, you've got all the perspective of all the players in front of you. And sometimes you can focus on the front part of the goal, you know, the goal post at corner kicks or the back post or whatever. And therefore you can miss this type of incident. So positioning is important, first of all. And I make that particular point because in a game this weekend, Simon Hooper positioned himself on the edge of the D, almost central. And if you pick up on that particular game, you'll see that he, in fact, blocked a player from having a shot on goal. It was a pretty poor piece of refereeing. In this instance, I cannot understand why VAR has not picked up that particular offence. In the same way that in the Newcastle game, there was a punch or a deliberate elbow on, I think, on Gordon, and that went unpunished as well.
Now, is that not like the guys in Stockley Park, the VAR guys? Do they not have the live show on the TV as well with them?
Yes.
And surely then they see this replay.
I think what they don't have is they don't have the commentary.
No, that's fine. They don't need
commentary. They've got more than one screen.
So they must have seen that replayed. And even though maybe 30 seconds might have elapsed or a minute might have elapsed, they should surely inform the referee, like they do in rugby. The referee doesn't pick up everything, but the linesman in rugby will stick his flag out, indicating to the referee that an offence has been committed that he hasn't seen. So they would have the same thing. They would have the replays of what you and I would see watching the game on TV.
Yes. And I think that what we have here is there's more, first of all, there's more than one person looking at the screen in Stockley Park.
Ah, that's even worse then, Keith.
They've got a VAR and they've got an AVAR. Let us make that quite clear. That there's
Correct.
And so as a consequence, this is why you say to yourself, why in the professional game are these incidents missed? And in a way, it's frightening that they are missed because they're major errors. And you look at it and you go, we need a greater level of transparency for sure. And it's evident that these guys need more training.
Yeah.
And they need to be specialists.
Or do they just need guts to make the decision? Are they scared to make the decision? I mean, it's happening there right in front of their nose. And they're getting replay what you and I are getting, and yet they still seem reluctant to inform the referee that this guy nearly had his face removed and nothing was given.
Well, I mean, the one thing that could happen on this, by the way, is this. The Football Association could make contact with the match officials and ask this question. Did you see this incident? If all three of them say no, that then enables the Football Association to go to the disciplinary panel and charge the player. So that is there if they wish to operate it.
I mean, it's borderline violent conduct because he pulled.
I think I agree with you. I think it, for me, and it's changed. I wanted to put, when I was boss of the PGMOL, I put in a criteria. It was dead simple. Where a player places his hands on the neck and face of an opponent, I want a red card. And I stood in front of the referees and said, there is no outlet here for you. If this occurs, this is the outcome. I'm going to be telling all the clubs, and they're going to be telling all their players that this is the sanction that's going to be invoked by you as match officials. And it stopped it for a period. It stopped it. It reduced it. Because players will take advantage of weak refereeing.
Of course they do. Well, and I don't blame them for that.
Well, I mean, it's part of the game.
I don't blame them. They're not there to help the referee. They're there to hoodwink the referee in any way they can. And we have got to be aware of that and deal with it when it happens. Yeah. But I really, going back to what we said at the start of the program, I really do feel there's a weakness there in referees, that they're scared to make decisions against big name clubs?
Well, I feel that at this moment in time, and it really does sadden me to say, but I do worry about the standard of referee, but I also worry about the standard of management. Let me give you an example. We're 6 weeks. We've now had 6 programs completed this evening. Out of those 6 programs, Jared Gillett, who's a competent match official, despite his problems this weekend, he's had Arsenal 4 times.
Ooh.
Either in the capacity of referee, VAR, or 4th official. I'm not going to break that analysis down.
No.
But he's had them 4 times. Now, for me, that does not help Jared Gillett. Then, I want to move on because I know we're short on time. I just want to talk about the Chelsea-Brighton incident.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Chelsea player, in clearing the ball, his foot comes into contact with the Brighton player's head. And nothing is given. Absolutely nothing. You know, I mean,
yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It was all over the papers. Yeah.
I'm, you know, this is a penalty kick, and the minimum sanction, a yellow card for a reckless high boot. Minimum. Because I could treat that with a degree of cynicism and say it's actually endangered the safety of an opponent. And because of the kicking movement, it has excessive force. You're seeing red, off you go.
Yeah. Now, people might say foot up used to be dangerous play. And we used to say the equilibrium, if you like, of dangerous play of a player putting his head down or another player putting his foot up was to the waistline. So if you put your head down to the waistline, you're endangering yourself. As another player, if you put your foot up above the waistline, that's dangerous play. But this was right up in the face.
And I mean, it's bemusing that at this high level, referees do not apply the law correctly. The other thing I want to touch on, and I probably didn't pre-warn you, was that I watched the game on Saturday at Penistone Church. I'm a great lover of grassroots football.
I know you are.
And
you're actually honorary president, aren't you? There.
Yeah, and you know, we were awful as a team. We were awful, but I'm not going to blame it on the referee like some of the spectators have sat aside of me. But the one thing I really, really liked was that as soon as the goalkeeper got possession of the ball, the referee was shouting 5, 4, 3, 2, and guess what? We didn't have a problem. The goalkeepers, both sides, were very quick at releasing the ball. So it's good to be able to say, here is a new law, it's brought in, and once again, we're not seeing the senior guys applying it, but we are at grassroots level. And you know, and I think it did the trick. The referee doing the job as they're paid to do.
Now, why aren't they doing that at Premier League, or are they? I've only seen one referee do the countdown.
Yeah, I've seen it once. I've seen it penalised once, and that was at Burnley, and since it's not been penalised.
It's not been penalised. So the players will get used to the fact that the referees are not going to enforce that rule or that law, and they'll just continue as before, and we'll be back up to the 15, 20 seconds the goalkeeper holding out of the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolute nonsense. Keith, we've run out of time again, unfortunately. There were so many more things I wanted to talk to you about, but we may be taking them in again next week. The time goes so quickly.
It
Thanks
does.
very much again for your time, Keith. Really, really do appreciate it. And thank you, people out there, for sending in your comments.
Get your
Keep them-
questions in.
And yeah, keep them coming in, and I will get around to answering them. Until next
Great.
Monday, same time, same place, 8 o'clock. From Keith and I, good night and thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.